30 minutes or so, everyone has the opportunity to ask any questions they
Yeah,
might want to hear. So I'm going to put myself on mute, and Max, it's over to you.
cool. Yeah, will share my screen. So from my side, hello again to everyone. Let me see. I think this is working, or? Yeah, I see nicking faces. That's good. Okay, yeah. So first of all, oh, wait a sec. Here, hello again, and welcome to this presentation. So thanks, James, and everyone who's interested in that and for the opportunity. So I'm Max Salzborn, and I'm 27 years old and live in Hamburg. And I do motion design and graphic design, but mostly is it motion design yet. And I started my career very early, as you see here, with my very dripped clothes. And I really start with painting very, very early. So I really love to have everything. So in every situation, I knew I have one little book and some pencils or some colors or so with me, because I was really, really obsessed with that. Which comes then to my next very, very obsession, which is like animes or cartoons, but more anime things. And I'm I know it very exactly that from my school, if it's finished with school, I rush back to watch the animes because there was from 2 till I guess 5, the whole range of anime things. So I was really in that time. That time I have no friends or anything else. I just had my TV, and I was really interested in this whole style and how to paint it. And later on, I also painted that thing. So and yeah, I was really, really, really obsessed with that. And after that becomes very unpopular because I got getting older. I started with trading card games, so like Pokemon, Magic, Naruto cards. I got also some different cards which are very, very rare because it was one of 100 um, cards which you can get. So like a stack. So a new game which was at the conference. And yeah, I was really, really interested in that. And also till today, because I have also some pretty nice cards already. And all these things, even video games or the other things which I mentioned before, was all things are dripping now in my style, which you see later on, and which I thought, or which I thought about, is pretty cool because I was more free than I was before. Um, because and for me it was like you have your style and you watch what's comes on and watch what style is very interesting in at the time. So for 3 or 4 years, and with the time I realized, okay, it's cool that this style is in right now or this style, but as I make this part and say, okay, hey, I want to be more in this old things like animes, video games, trading cards. I want to have this in my work. I was more free and more to do the things what I want to do. So I study at the Bauhaus University in Weimar, which was my first really step into art and into design. And I studied graphic design or visual communication, which is like a little bit of everything besides 3D, and interior design, which is the fun fact because now I do most of the time 3D and motion design and a little bit of interior, but with 3D. And after that, I was really directly into freelancing. I have a small internship in Berlin at a bureau, which was pretty cool, and I really like it there. but for me it was the direct response that I don't want to be in a office, or I don't want to be as an employee and at some point. So I started the freelancing career and was like, okay, this is the step and it will go all well instantly, but it wasn't. So I have some bigger problems, some smaller problems, and I find my way. I have still some problems I don't know how to go through, but at the end, it's going all well. So this is why I'm here. So now we can start with the work which you are all waiting for. So the first project, what was one of my little dream projects, because the client I had was also coming from the Bauhaus, but years ago so I started at the Bauhaus and they was like, I guess 2 or 3 years out and doing their stuff. Is New Tendency, which is like a Berlin brand, and they have a very clear aesthetic, which I really liked. And I wanted to work for them years, but I never thought it would be super intelligent to write them and say, hey, I just want to work for you for free. So I have no clients, because then you're a little bit, it's not cool. So I was like, okay, then I do my own stuff, and at some point they will come to me and write me. So this will happen. So this is what I marked in my mind and say, okay, this must be the point. Yeah, and sometimes ago, they write me and was like, hey, we are planning some stuff. So they have one thing which called the float shelf, which was brand new for them. So I started with the sketching the whole animation, because it was about animation. And yeah, this is the thing how it could look like, or how it could look like if you book an animation from me. So I really like to sketch all ideas I got, because I'm a very visual person, as you see also in the presentation. It's more about visual and fun, except then to, so I need to see it before I can think about it. It's a little bit weird, but I can manage that. So, and after I have the sketches for them, he was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And we started with some pre-renderings for the settings, because they want to have some stills for the website to sell the product, and also for Instagram to do some marketing stuff in Instagram. So, oops. Oh, yeah. So we got I guess it was 7 colors of this float shelf, and we have different backgrounds and different light situations for every color, and also sometimes a key, because I thought it would be nice to have something relatable on, so that you have, like, if you come home, you're very tired, you want to drop your keys off, as I did now. So I thought it would be nice to have one real object. So it was also some glasses there. We have some papers, which was all a little bit too thick and yeah, it doesn't look so good. And the keys was perfect, because they are small and have a message. So from homecoming. So we choose that. And all together will then come into the animation. Yeah, I hope the sound doesn't kill you, like on my side. Yeah, this was the final animation then for the float shelf, which was like for 1920 till 1080, so like one on a larger screen and one for Instagram. And this was really fun because I have completely freedom to do what I want to do. And the owner comes to me and was like, hey, why not fold them together? This is why the animation goes like that. And after that, we have another project. So instantly after that, which is like the Etude meta. So is a little side table, and it was done for Etude, which is like I think a French brand, and they wait a sec. Oh, yeah, they have a new release then, and the cool thing on this is also that it's like this combination of brands, but also with the director, which is Jonas Lindström, which is known for the I think a lot of films from Kendrick Lamar. This is where I know him, but he has also a big portfolio of crazy, nice aesthetic videos, which helps us to bring all that spirit in the animation or in the final output. So as you see, the normal, like a lot of sketches again, and I really like to sketch also the shadows because this was all about the shadow stuff. That we have the table, which is like in a scenario, and the table doesn't change anything. So the table is there. There was like, I guess, five different colors, and the table is in every frame. It stands on the same place, but on on a different part of Europe. This was the behind thinking of the whole project. So this is why we have, for example, here Berlin, which is like a little bit dark and foggy. We have Amsterdam, Luxembourg. Then we have London, which is of course full of rain, which is like the same as in Hamburg. And we have also Lisbon, which is then break up and the whole raindrops will go away and it will be bright sun, which then ends up in Riga, Warsaw. And at the end, we are then in Zagreb, which is then the birthplace of democracy. And yeah, so this is the whole thinking behind of this project. And this is the final mood board or like the final outcome, which I sent to them and was like, hey, this is now how it looks. Should we render it or not? And then they were like, yeah. And then we're finished with the project. So as you see at the beginning, it starts with the side of this meta table, then the steps, and the sunlight will be very bright, very, very orange. So it's a very early morning. And then it comes back to Berlin, which then goes from hard shadows to soft shadows and no shadows because it's all rainy and very, very dusty. And so this big town flavor thing. And then the drop will go away and we have some puddles, which are like some clouds are in the petals, and then they come the sun and fulfill the whole animation till the end of the day. So it's like one whole day, and this will look like that. Yeah, and also the sound was then done by them. It's funny to see it again because it was a lot of work, but it was great to work with them because I learned very in every project, I would say, which I show you. I learned a lot of stuff while doing it, and this comes next to the next project, which is like friends of mine, which are the Scarf family. So Jay Jean does mainly graphic design at some glasses seller, so they sell glasses. But she was thinking about more going not freelance, but want to do something for her own. So she started Scarf, which are like a brand for scarves. And on this side, you see that if we go one further, um, you see that these are some moods which I sent to her and was like, hey, we should do something like this, because she was like, hey, I want to work with you and really like the stuff you do. And therefore she's a friend of mine. I was like, hey, we can put this as a portfolio project for me, so it's also ongoing. And we did first so like this kind of scarves which are folded so you can see all sides. With the I extruded the objects which you see on the scarf to the 3D world to build up some bigger arrangement and to fulfill the scene with some more plastic or like a realer look and a very interesting thing. And now we're planning further with some gift cards which we are giving away, because also with Corona it's pretty hard for her to produce them. So I did also some little stills for her, some animation which she can drop over Instagram and promote the stuff. And this is really fun. And also one project which is like a hard project, I would say, so that it's not for money. It's just for the fun. I can do whatever I want, and yeah, I really like that. Um, which brings me to the next project, which is one of my funniest project I ever made, because the client was like, hey, we have some pretty nice products which we want to present, and yeah, I think you would fit perfectly in. And yeah, the products are like sex toys. And I was like, okay, I'm not so shy at that point, but it's very uncommon to render some vibrators or something else. And she was, and the people from Aura was like, no, that's super cool. We're just two very clean, very slick look. So yeah, this is what it comes out. It was also a crazy hard progress to get these hearts into this package, not from the above side, but on the sides. They have some wrinkles which are very difficult in 3D. I learned that way. Also with some detail hairs and that stuff. This is the product. Also with the box that you see everything, how it comes in the package. Then there are also some candles which you can turn on. Also it was a pretty common product shot project, but also pretty fun because I was also very free to choose the color or to choose the aesthetic, and also the lubricant. Also some mute images, which brings me then to my own projects. So like this is so the stuff what I do for clients. And oh no, one oh for real, yeah, one bigger project is lost. So like the Jacquemus bag, which a friend of mine and I did together. So Jacob Eisinger, also called as Yippee Hey, did the stuff with the 3D modeling. So he modeled the bag, and I did animation with him together and texturing. Also starting from the beginning with some sketches, which then goes in the hardware renderings and development, research and development phase. Then comes the lightning, and at the end, there are some final touches in the texture. So we did this kind of thing. So this is the first hardware animation which we done together in a lot of forth and back stuff. And at the end, it is looked like this. It has no sound because they want to have it on their own. So we just send them this. So it's like the little bag which is strapping herself on and then finally put together. And 1 or 2 days, no, the same day as we want to publish it, the owner of the company was like, I really like it. I just changed the cuts. So we have put a lot of effort in the cuts, also with the team. And the owner was like, I just changed some cuts and do some own work on my own, which was okay then, because it looks also pretty cool. But it was like, okay, never saw that before, but okay. So, and now we come to my own things, which is like the salty stream. So it's like every Tuesday and Thursday. So also today, I stream on Twitch my progress about the sculptures I made, which are started at some where it started. It was like an idea I got, and it was like, okay, I want to have something on a daily base what I can produce and where I can try out some lightning, some materiality, some textures, some ideas I got. And yeah, this is the the whole idea behind of them till some months. But after more and more comes together, and also some different materialities and different shapes, I was thinking more about the whole concept and the whole idea, and try till today find my own style in that. And what is important that every of these objects is mainly inspired by things I see or real things, so like batteries or like this kind of foamy thing or 3D printed stuff. And it's pretty interesting to see something in real life and getting inspired by this to, for example, thought about, oh, this could be a nice material or this could be a nice shape. Let's combine them together and create something new. So as you see, it's a bunch of different stuff, also inspired by the whole anime, or like I also have played a lot with these little guys here, which you then also see in some of these sculptures. So yeah, a lot of stuff, and it will become more. So the starting point was more like experimenting stuff, and nowadays it becomes more like a very I want to go harder into surfaces. I want to really try to that people think about, so see this and think about, oh, I want to touch it. I want to feel it. I want to take it in the hands. So which then, if this is the thing what people think when they see the stuff I did, then I have all reached. So all goals are reached. And at the end, there was like coming more the marvelous designer stuff, so more fluffy stuff. They going back to the so we started with very geometric shapes, but nowadays I want to go more into the fluffy and very squishy stuff. Also with some new cutting ways, I learned to how to produce nice hair and going more into scenery. The starting point was more like the object, but nowadays it's more like the whole scenery and the whole how I what I want to say with the image. So for example, here it's very on the left side, it's very dramatic, very it's nearly dying, and on the underside it's very playful, very very fun. And this one is also all built, if I have animations, it's also built up in hardware renderings, and then after I really like it, I did the final renderings. So it's the same process and progress as in the client work. And with the new PC I bought for 2 years, I was then finally can do animation stuff, which helps me also for client work, but also for the personal work, because I recognize that animation is a tool which helps to bring more emotion into some very stiff objects, like the sculpture things. And these three are like the first steps into the NFT world, which is like these are the combination with trading cards was then the NFTs from a friend of mine, which Mario, who lives in Italy, I guess, or no, Toronto. Toronto lives. He's an online friend, and we did this also on stream all together. And they will be, after finishing the pieces, they will be then turned into trading cards, and then it turn into NFTs. So this is also something which I share with the community, which we come later on, because through the streams and through the progress and process of the whole sculpture stuff, they build up a whole small salty community, which is super crazy to see, that people follow you for months and really recognize your artworks or your stuff you do, and then send you a lot of messages. So friendly messages, of course. And this is also related to anime stuff. So like the udon noodle soup or onigiri and the bento box filled with gold and some little caviar. Which brings me then to the salty sculptures, which are like the same sculptures you see on 3D and on your smartphone or Instagram, but in real life. So I tried myself to do them in real life. My girlfriend really loves me for that. As you see on the left side, this is our kitchen table. And it's very chaotic. I have no idea how to put the stuff, the ceramic powder or the silicone together. But at the end, it works out, and I bring some small babies to life here. So one I have also in front of me. So I've done two shapes, like the big boy and the small boy, which I want to sell, but I will try out some more stuff. So this is only for my Patreon users exclusive. But it's a very fun progress, or to create something which is not 3D, because then you have no screen in front of your eyes. It's all you can feel the material and feel the process behind the, if it's first it's very like water, and then after hours it will be very very hot because it's has this progress, and after that it's like stone. And I was like, how can turn this to stone? It's water at the beginning. So it's super fascinating. And also, this brings me then to the community, which started, for example, as this point. So I created this little dude in Marvelous, which is a program for Clove. And the community done this with that. So they have only the 3D files, and they did amazing work on that. So a lot of different styles, a lot of different shapes, and yeah, I was completely blown away to see all the nice impacts and ideas the people had. And I think it's also pretty helpful for the people in this time, because I think everyone is a little bit struggling, but they feel maybe a little bit home, or a little bit they can exchange the ideas they have and the dreams they have, and learn from them together, which is also a very big pushing me very forward to do some stuff like that. And yeah, let's see where this is all going. So we did also combine the stream with my private interests. So we had also one Pokemon opening stream, which will then, I guess, in 2 weeks is the next one. So, and the fun fact is that the people are still watching this, which was also for like, who the hell will watch this if you're not into the scene? So it's very, but yeah, they really enjoyed it, and yeah, that's makes me more happier then. So that's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope it was not too fast. And yeah, I thank you. And I look forward to your feedback.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Max.
Max, does anyone have any specific questions for Max? Got a question.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious, because obviously, like, you look at animation, you look at textures, like, and like surfaces, so much inspiration. Like, how do you collect things? Like, do you have I don't know, how do you, like, for example, for like textures and stuff like this, do you look at like images, or do you sometimes, like, do you find like objects and you bring them back? Like, what does your do you collect things often, and what does your collections kind of look like?
It's a good question. I collect things mainly mainly on Pinterest, so like that I see images, or from Instagram I see some images and thinking like, oh, this could be a very, very interesting texture, or like, oh, how they did that. Because sometimes I look at the textures and think like, this could be a little bit different to do in 3D, so let's do this. Or sometimes I, for example, so this is the next thing I want to do. I saw, for example, on this kind of card, this texture, you can't see it because it's too tiny, but it has like your fingerprint, so like this kind of stuff on it. And then I feel like, oh, this is pretty interesting. I never saw that before or so. And then the inspiration comes from them. So sometimes it's the things I see in real life, and sometimes it's the things I saw online. And on a completely different way is like the materials I did myself for the Patreon guys. In this case, it's like that I do a collage out of images, and then it turns into black and white. And then these are building in the software a material which I never expect before, which is totally a mystery how they did that, but it works. So
Can I ask a question about NFTs? Because this is
yeah, for sure.
This kind of topic divides lots of divides lots of people on whether or not it's something that's here to stay or something that we believe is just another kind of digital kind of trend. What's your opinion on NFTs, and how has it kind of helped you to connect with kind of more people? Like, what's the kind of feedback you've got surrounding NFTs? Because I know you have some work that you've sold. Is that correct?
Yeah, I sold one NFT. So it's not that many, but so in general, I think it's a very good idea to sell. So to the beginning, an NFT is like a non-fundable token, which is like an artwork or a PNG or a MP4 or whatever it is, which then clinked into the blockchain and is like, it is at the end like a PNG with a original certificate on it. So everyone can see it online and everyone can also download it online, but you're not the owner of this kind of piece. So it's a little bit like if you are in Christie's and buy Picasso or something, then you get also a certificate that it's real. And this is like the same, a little bit the same, not 100% thing. And I think it's a little bit different. So on the one hand, it's pretty cool because the owner and also the artist get 10% of the selling price, even it's the second or third sale. But on the other hand, it's actually, so now, very, very destroying for the planet. But with better programs and better process behind them, it will be most of the time better for the planet. But it's also different to see because I sell one thing which is super cool and I'm really happy about that. But what I see also in my group of friends, it's not like that you are a rookie or a new ones in the art market and drop an NFT and everyone is want to have it. So it's not that. It's the people who are going millionaires overnight. They are all people who are years and years in the marketplace of art or who are years of experience, and they have a name already. So, for example, yesterday I saw from Flat Eric from Mr. Oizo, one snippet which sold as NFT, and yeah, this is also sold for like 250,000 or so, but it is also Flat Eric, so it's not very or Denying Cat or some memes you ever know. So yeah.
I think it's going to take me some time to
So it's a little bit different.
understand it, to be honest with you. I think maybe my head's not completely getting around it at the moment. But has anyone else got any other questions before I end up asking like 25 of them?
Quickly about NFT as well. You just said about how it's people who've already had a place in the market or in the art world or whatever for 30 years or whatever. But it seems there's also a lot of people who are, something was created for an alternate purpose however many years ago that's now becoming an NFT. What do we think about that progression of what that was to what it now is becoming?
So do you mean like all the digital artists?
Yeah, well, not just like you said, it can be any form of, just say, something that was created 10 years ago, but now is being reconstituted almost as an NFT.
There's a good example of that. There was an artist who produced something physically, they burnt it and then remade it as a digital painting, and the value of the digital painting was 600,000, but the original painting was worth 60,000. I think that's similarly to what Nick is saying. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, cool. I know you're not. I know we're not here to talk. Just so you're not the NFT expert. It's just obviously, I'm sure it's on all of our minds all the time at the moment about getting our heads around it. Well, it is mine anyway.
No, it's a good question. I think on this side,
it's whether you think that something should be made now as an NFT, or whether something that's existed already can be then have become an NFT now, or whether something needs to be created as an NFT. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that you not need a new Picasso on NFT, to be honest, because I think real paintings and not real is the wrong word, but like physical art is most of the time, if it's painted with oil or so, for me, has more. It's more interesting because in real space, but there's also the other way where people have real sculptures or real art, not real, so physical art, and they put it into NFTs, but with mapping on it. So they extended the artwork with NFT, and I think this is the point where it will be interesting. So, and very, very, yeah, it's at the end, all the NFTs are like trading cards. So if you think about that, it's all about that. So
that was going to be my next
own
question.
NFT,
was obviously
you can own one-on-one, or you can.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Or you can own. Or you can own 1,000, one of 1,000. So, and on this part, it could be interesting if you say, okay, we take a photo of, for example, Guernica. So Guernica is big as hell. It's a very massive of artwork, which you never can stand into your room except you're Drake or someone else. So, and on this part, it would be interesting to have it, so to own it and to put it into the Samsung frame, for example, because this is also a thing. You can own a artwork, which you then burn into a physical frame and to view it. So it's like a little bit. It's like trading card for big boys and girls, I would say, at the end.
Yeah, the difference is you're displaying something that's digital as opposed to something that's physical.
But also, if you have, for example, Bitcoin, which is also not physical, and you turn out into a millionaire over 5 years, and then transfer it to fiat again, then you're a millionaire.
Well, yeah, that I had a whole long conversation about digital currencies last night.
How does like doing things with your hands, because I think like from first sight, like, okay, you do very digital animations, but I think it's so cool that you have this bridge between the two that I didn't expect. And I'm wondering, like, how does that, like, doing things with your hands, how does that like feed back into making animations for the future in terms of like what kind of attention you develop to things and stuff like that?
It brings all the objects I sculpt in real life are like 3D printed stuff. So they are also done in 3D world. But I have also thought about to real sculpting things up. But in the time now, it's very interesting for me to progress them in this kind of marvelous stuff. So I definitely want to have one object which is then printed in 3D. No, it's called 3D. Yeah, 3D printed, and then turns out into the stone, which is like very fluffy. So you thought about that it's very, very squishy, and it looks like that, but it doesn't feel like that because it's our stone. And another thing, what I really like to do is to create something in VR. So it's like, I'm not the guy who's on this rotating spin thing and put up my vase, but this is what I don't like. I done it once in school. And it was horrible. It was all clay was all on the walls, but not all there where it should be. But if it's like in VR, then you can put up some very thick strings, or it's like, it's totally amazing. I just can't describe it. It's just another different way to sculpt in 3D. So all the time I sit here on my desk and doing like this kind of meme stuff with the cat and break my back. But in VR, I can get more freedom into this. And this is something I also want to explain more or in this kind of field. So like, yeah, digital sculpting things.
Yeah. What do you think that, because currently technology, they've made it more accessible with stuff like the Oculus Quest. We were talking about it this morning, actually. And that bridge between the kind of the physical and the kind of the ability to have to learn software, really. It kind of bridges that gap of being able to draw in a free and an open space. I don't know how complicated they are to use. I know Toby was keen to try and get one in the studio, right? I think, yeah. I'm yet to see stuff that I'm like hugely impressed by within that space right now, but it definitely is an interesting one. I'm going to ask you a little bit of a broader question. You've done so many different things up to this point, including doing work. You've worked with Jennifer on a couple of projects now, on like BBC Spitfire and the new project that we're working on. Is there something within the creative field that you are yet to have done and are really desperate to do, like within the design space? Like, for example, just as an example, co-design a piece of furniture or to design a typeface or something along those lines. Is there something that you've kind of like are waiting for someone to knock on your door and do? And I know you're going to say become a Pokemon character, but apart from that.
What I really want to design, you mean, or what I really want to achieve or so? Or is it the opposite?
Or if
because I can do both. Like,
yeah, do both.
So like the horrible thing I could do is like going back to the graphic design stuff, because I was super into graphic design and I really like people who are doing this, and I'm really, so like designs of your team is very, very pleasing for the eye, but it's nothing for me. It's so I also designed this kind of presentation thing, and I'm not that guy anymore. I look at that and was like, no, I have no pushing things to do this, because I want to do it in 3D. So it's like, I don't know why. It's just that the turning point was like 2 or 3 years ago, where I imagined, okay, that's it. I'm done with that.
No, the kind of the question was more so if the next person who rang Max, and you could control who the next person was going to ring you with the ultimate project. It doesn't have to be 3D. What would that be?
There's several. So my next, because I have more steps in my head before. So the last step was like the new tenancy guys. This was this step. But the next step will be Remova. I would love to work for them because I really like the aesthetic of the things. After that, it will be more Rolex or Hublot. So like this watch thing. And maybe get one for free. This would be nice. Because they are so expensive. And I think the maximum everything what I love to do is like this kind of streaming and build my sculptures and do my things with my community and get rich from that, so that I never need to work for anyone else. This would be the main goal.
Is there any other questions from anybody else? Because I know Max is going to jump onto a live stream with lots of people watching him unbox Pokemon cards. So is there any questions that anybody has? I'll take that silence as a no. So Max, thank you so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to get one of those sculptures from you. If not, you're going to teach me how to do it so I can make one myself, one of the two. But thank you so much.
Yeah, I need to tell them.
So thanks.
Thank you, Max.
Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take
Good luck.
care.